Let me hit record here.
Oh,
And
shit.
there we go. All
We
right.
are live in the studio.
All right, man. All right. Welcome. Dude. Okay. Let's start off with the brass tacks like we always do. How was your week?
The week was good. I am
The week was good. Great.
It
All right,
was.
we're done.
We're done. We've
That's
done the
it.
work. That is all it includes. No, I'm just enjoying my protein shake out of my frosted beer mug. It's one of my
Nice.
favorite.
What flavor is it?
It is First Form chocolate milkshake with some whipped cream.
First Form chocolate milkshake. That's our first sponsor. There we go.
That is.
First
You
Form
too can be an affiliate releasing booty programs.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
ebooks.
yeah. Look, here's my code is skinny20. Plug it in. What is First Form? I've never heard of it.
It's one of the better supplement companies out there as far as like the widely consumed brands.
It's like just like better ingredients and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
better quality.
Okay.
Their whey protein in particular is like cold filtered, micro isolate, all that good stuff.
Whatever.
Sciencey terms that make the gains faster.
Micro filtered. Yeah, I'll micro filter some shit. Yeah. Okay.
So the week, brass tacks.
Well, does it just taste good too? Like
it tastes delicious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that primarily okay?
It's like the 99.99% of the battle.
Yeah, my macros have been totally off. I'm getting like 100 grams of protein a day, max.
Is that so? Do you get like an assigned plan from your lady?
No,
no,
not even close.
Obviously, that's like.
No. Yeah, it's all just by feel.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, I'm not lifting, dude. It's not like I need
that's true.
like a bunch of shit. And I found like where I retain stuff pretty easily. I don't really shrink very easily, and I find like 130 grams is kind of as much as I need for to recover from my shit that I do, and I'm fine. I don't really have any like super crazy goals right now. I'm not trying to get yoked or anything like that. Dude, look at this. I'm already beautiful, man. I don't need anything else.
As much as I talk shit every time about the progressive hair growth, I am impressed. It looks good.
Thanks, man. I woke up this way. This is not, I'm not even joking.
No, it was just perfect. It was just perfect.
When I brush my teeth, and I put some water on my face, and then the water that's left on in my hands, I just do that, and boom, we get this nice, see this wave right here? That's au naturel, my friend.
You know who that bears a striking resemblance to, now that I have video proof?
Who is that?
Watkins Sr.
Ah, yeah, definitely. Wait, how do you know Watkins Sr.?
From the that meditation group. Remember him and your mom both sent videos?
Oh, yes. That's right. Okay. Cool. Also, yeah, I get that all the time. Yeah, and I think you're an amalgamation.
Oh, dude, it's like if you just smack them on top of each other, it's you.
Totally. Well, I've got to be super strict on timing today because I've got a 12-mile run after this.
Nice.
That I've got to like prehab for, and then I've got like a day date with the girlfriend out in public. So then I have to like get.
That's
ready.
A lot of things that you have to do,
man, it's
and
like
that you just got to get it done.
Just got to get it done. There's no other option.
Those stakes are high.
So high, dude. if I don't do it. So yeah, I'm excited to hear what your week was like. And we'll start with the routine, the stuff that we know works really well for us, and then go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I kind of count my week. Actually, kind of count it from this is when I start counting things. Just because I think it's a good way to get the momentum shifted. So I think
starting on a Saturday is great.
I think it's the best.
Starting on that's the way to do it. I wonder if if this is recording, am I like in the small window and are you in the big, or is it from my perspective? Or if I switch to gallery view, will it show it as a gallery?
From my perspective.
It's from your perspective. So I record is from your perspective. So
you're the big one. I'm pretty sure.
Well, what if I switch it to just the side by side view instead of this?
We can find out.
All right. Well, I'm going to do the gallery view, so it's like even.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
There's not a spiritual hierarchy at play. We don't need.
Well, yeah, there is, and I'm on the top, obviously. I'm clearly going to be up here.
Yep.
That's the goal of this, is for me to be higher than you at all points.
At 100% of the time.
Actually, the goal is for you to just like soar past me entirely. Like that's what I'm wanting. It won't be possible. Maybe in some facets.
It's something I can aspire to on a daily basis.
There's just some things that you won't be able to, and it's this face. That's it. It's just
it's true.
Okay, so I like the week starting on Saturday.
Yeah.
I like that. It's like why the fuck not? Started on the day off, and we've got the meeting in the morning, and dude. So yeah.
And on Saturdays I wake up, I do my appreciations, and I started journaling right when I get up. So I knock out a few of those questions we've gone over, and I pretty much stick with the same 3 right now that feel really good. So it's what can I appreciate right now? So I lump the appreciations into that journal.
Do you answer that question for yourself like right then and there, or is that...
I answer it right then and there, and then I usually try to spark that question again a couple times during the day.
Okay.
Just to keep the focus there. Particularly if I just like feel my mind drifting into like useless wandering bullshit. It's like, all right, let's focus on like appreciating something that actually feels pretty good for a couple seconds.
Okay.
And so then next couple questions are usually like, what would make today the most fun? Which has gotten to be wildly consistent just because my days are pretty fucking awesome. So I like.
So give me it. So what can I so say that question again?
Yeah. What can I do today to make today the most fun?
Okay. And then what kind of answers have you been getting back?
Yeah. They're at this point pretty much it's like I basically just rehash my routine into that little bubble. Which I like isn't probably quite as bold as I could be. Right. But one thing I have started adding to that question that I don't know, in like a dorky manifesting reality kind of way is what would make today the most fun is like meeting the woman I've been dreaming of. And I throw that one in there pretty consistently.
Okay, so you're ready to like meet that lady.
I have been feeling that way.
Yeah. I'm sure the quarantine has helped with that.
But yeah, and other than that, it's like I want to learn some new words in Japanese. I want to spend time playing with my dog. I want to suck less at Valorant, pick heavy shit up. Just like
you always have to remind me on what the Valorant is, and then I've got to like, okay, it's a video game. That's right.
Yep.
Okay,
it's a video game that I'm trash at.
Got it.
Yeah,
got it. Great.
And then I mean that's like walking through a lot of the routine. But anyway, I do those journals. And the next one I usually do is like, how can I trust my body today? And that has just been really focused on like, what is my body telling me right now, right? Like, what is it telling me it wants to eat? What is it telling me it wants for movement? How can I take care of it, even if it's something I like don't actively want to do, right? So like mobility work, breathing, just making conscious decisions that feel good, even if it's one of those things like, I don't need to do that right now. And another big one is just like on the trusting of my body front, like trying to eat something that is a quote unquote scary food, at least once a day. So whether that's like something fucking as remote and trivial as putting whipped cream in my beverages or having a burger for dinner instead of like a steak and rice or something, just like little stuff that's like, hey, little bitch boy that's afraid of food. Not today. Not today. You're not. Then fuck up all the time and get caught up in like, today is chicken and rice day.
Yeah. So the afraid of the food thing, right? It's what's the fear?
Mostly, I mean, there's 2 big stories. There's the big one is I don't want to get fat and unattractive and ugly, especially in my pursuit for this woman of my dreams, as we have mentioned. And the second one is I don't want my body to feel poopy. Like I don't want to get bloated. I don't want to deal with acid reflux. And that's like a very surface level 3D excuse for the root thing.
Well, that second one seems fine with me, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't want to feel that way.
Totally.
I don't want to feel like I've totally been like, had a craving for, I don't know, insert bad food here, right? And I've actually not had it because I'm like, I actually don't like how I feel after I eat that.
Yep.
Or like, given the state I'm in right now, I know if I eat that thing, I'm not going to feel very good. Yep. There are times like, let's say I've just crushed a workout or something, and and my metabolism is like through the roof, and I had like a tablespoon of oatmeal for whatever, right? And I just know that if I fuck up like 1,200 calories right now,
you're gonna be fine.
Amazing, right? Yep. And it's like, that's what I'm like, oh, I need like a plate of buffalo wings and a giant salad, right? And I'm gonna feel awesome. So I think that one is fine. Sometimes though, I can use that as like, when we get good at this shit, we can be like, we can use that as like I'm gonna insert this. It's like a super 3D chess bullshit artist where it's like, oh, I'm not gonna eat this because I don't think if I'm gonna feel good after, but really it's a disguise for I don't want to be fat.
I'm not going to eat this because I'm so woke that it just would ruin my mojo. I can't be putting those into the temple.
Exactly.
It is elk and jalapeno.
Which is code for what, right? Which is code for I don't want to be a fat piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
That story, not gonna work. Not gonna work. And that leads to a whole bunch more suffering, right? So yeah, the second one, and I think that's what you were saying, right? The second story is really a guise for actually the first story. So really there's one story.
Yeah, there's one story. And it is, let's not get fat today.
Right, because what happens if I go down that slope, that slippery slope of getting fat?
Yeah, man. Just like it compounds, right? You get fat and then you stop wanting to take care of yourself at all, and I'll stop doing the things that I love to do, and I'm just going to be an unlovable fat slob who doesn't do shit with his day and eats ho-hos and Twinkies and stuff. Like, that would not be my personal like go to hell in a handbasket food of choice, but that's the analogy.
Twinkies aren't that good. There are
They're
so many
not
other foods that are so much more delicious that are also garbage that I would opt. Like a Big Mac is so much better to me than a Twinkie, right?
For sure.
Or like a Doritos Locos Taco.
Oh God! Now you're speaking my language.
They're so good.
So good.
They're on Uber Eats now too out here, so it's like I haven't done it yet. But
I started making my own Crunchwrap Supremes at home, and Taco Bell can fuck right off.
Oh, I'm sure, man. I'm sure. So, but like, back to the story, right?
Yeah.
Back to the story. So what would be wrong with you? Like, so what you say, like, all right, then I would get fat. Okay, that's one layer down. So then what happens?
I am not attracted to women living in larger bodies. And so I don't want to be partnered with one who is. And that's the only type of person who would like me if I looked like that.
Mm-hmm. And then keep going.
Then I'll be alone forever because I'll either be with someone I don't want to be with, or no one I actually want to be with would want to be with me if I looked like this. So I'm going to stick here and just hang out. And while I'm at it, since I'm already fat, I might as well stop doing things that feel good, like moving my body, and stop going and hanging out with my friends and family because they're going to judge me for not being cool and not looking good. And like, how am I going to assert my superiority over people if I don't have veins ripping out of my biceps at all times? Gotta get like the fresh pump before I go hang out with friends. And if I don't have that, like, who am I? I'm just some Joe Schmo, and I don't want to be a Joe Schmo.
That's a lot of power to give a cheeseburger, right? For sure. Okay. All right. So those are the main stories that are happening in your head. And then what do you do when you like find like or become aware of those stories?
For the most, like, basically if there's a food I'm craving, I do like the most rational assessment I can do of what we were talking about earlier. Like, okay, how will I feel after this? What do I want to do with the rest of my day? And Something I found that I started to do was I would be like super good during the day, right? Like I have a quote unquote healthy breakfast, I exercise over lunch while I'm at work, have a quote unquote healthy lunch, have a snack, and then I get to dinner and I'm starving. And so I overeat dinner and then I don't feel very good. And so I don't get as many things done at night as I would like to do, right? And so that became kind of a guiding light of like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah, I generally find like if I play that game, like the pendulum just swings so much from like I'm like super restrictive and like everything it's 100% all or nothing, and then I'm in that zone for however long it is. That could be literally an hour to 6 months, right?
Yeah.
And then there is the inevitable pendulum swing back towards and that's where we get into like the binging cycles, right? Which just don't feel very good whatsoever.
Well, I think it's just like everything else, right? The longer you do this, the less distance that pendulum tends to accumulate in either direction.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like just kind of just stable.
Yeah.
And evens out a bit. And we're not perfect, right? Yeah, so it's fucking up all the time. And that's also fine. It's like not a big deal. Okay, so back to the routine.
Yeah.
So where
so we? I shower, meditate, make my breakfast.
Take the meditations like now. What are you doing?
My waking up subscription broke. And when I say my subscription broke, I mean the Android app broke.
Okay.
And so I just used the timer.
Forever?
I was still paying, but it was taking money out of my account, but I could never actually log in. And I think it's because I subscribed when I was an Apple user. And so they did some update that fucked my account syncing, I think.
Okay.
So anyway, I could resubscribe. What I've been doing is just setting like a 12 to 15 minute timer because the timer is still free in there. And it just does like the recurring bell cadence. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing that, and then I do a loose walking meditation when I walk Hattie. Like I'll count for the first 5-10 minutes. I'll usually count steps, like 1 through 20, and repeat for a little bit. And I, especially now, like summer in Colorado, I use that time to just like look at all the flowers and the sun and acknowledge how fucking beautiful it is.
So moving meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And get back from walking Hattie, start work.
What time is that? Like you go out, and what time do you get up generally?
It's anywhere between 6 and 7 now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so my day just kind of swings. Don't set an alarm. Mm-hmm. I have, like we've talked about, I have like my emergency, like 8 or 8:30 alarm that I need to go to stand up and not throw my job away kind of alarm. But other than that, I just kind of wake up when I wake up.
Yeah, I wake up whether I want to or not, like in between 6 and 7 o'clock.
That's exactly same
every time.
Even if I don't want to, at about 6:40, Hattie's gonna come in and start being like,
"You already
fucking
have an
dude."
Alarm clock. It's a black lab.
Yeah, so. Exactly. And then so then I go to work, and work's been interesting. This is definitely something we can talk about. And when I say interesting, it's the first software job I've had where I'm pretty consistently dealing with any amount of imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. Whereas before it was
this is the first one?
Yeah. My first jobs before I was
even when you were at Turing, like you were.
Dude, Turing, as arrogant as this might sound, Turing to me was super easy. Awesome. Like start to finish. Okay. And ISO, I didn't struggle with that. I didn't struggle at Gaia. But now it's like I am the sole.
It's not arrogant, man. If it's just like, look, if it's just the truth, like, dude, it was super hard for me. I sucked at it, and I was super bad. But it took me like a good 1.5 to 2 years of programming before I felt like comfortable programming. Okay. But if it's the truth, like, we don't need to be like falsely humble. It's just like the facts are the facts. We don't need to bullshit ourselves in either direction. So if you're fucking awesome at something, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's great. Fantastic. The only ones who are gonna have a problem with that are folks that are uncomfortable with their own situation, their own abilities. Yeah. So it's like, be fucking awesome. It's fine.
No, that's a great
As long
point.
as you're being honest, right? That's what matters, right? I don't, if I like, and I mean that in both directions. Like I could be awesome at something, not think I'm awesome at something, and then have to overcompensate by like being a braggadocio about it or whatever the word is, right? And it doesn't matter. Like what matters is that I am honest with it. And if people interpret that as being a douche, like that's their fucking problem, right? If you're good at it, awesome, own it, be good at it, right? I'm awesome at this stuff.
Yeah, true.
That's why we've been working together for 2 fucking years on this shit. Like that's fine. I've kind of always been kind of good with it. What do I suck at? A lot of stuff. Programming is great. It's actually, oh yeah. Oh, God. Thank you. I fucking suck at Dota. And I'm honest about it.
Yep.
Except in the moment.
Piece of trash.
It's everyone else's problem when I'm playing Dota and everyone else is doing everything wrong, but I just died and then I painted words. We need words. I need vision. That's why I did. It wasn't because I was out of position.
Not at all.
And farming somewhere I wasn't supposed to be. Anyway, we're going to get off of my sucking at Dota, bring it back to you. Because this time is for you, sir, not for me. But yeah, all the way back, it's like, don't, like, by all means, like, do whatever you want. But it's like, when you're like, not to brag, but I'm really good at, like, you're with me, man. And it's like, fucking brag away. This is the time to be like, and this is going awesome. When you're being honest.
Yeah.
Right? Trying to bullshit me about like, oh, like this relationship is going really good, or oh, this job is great, when that's not, like, okay. Like, no. But if you're awesome, that's great. Be awesome. But now you're in a company where the systems are more complex than you're used to, or whatever, you're working on something that you're not comfortable with, or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, it's all of the above. So the systems are more complex, and then I'm building something from scratch by myself that the company really, really wants. And so it's just I am creating the pressure on myself. Like I don't have a due date. There is no like you must get this much done by this time, and I'm just creating all of the stories of I suck, I can't do this, I'm going to lose my job, I'm going to get fired, I can't pay for my house, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, this is a great one actually too. Well, instead of going et cetera, like I know what you mean, right? But now we're starting. Well, there's 2 things. Now we're starting to record this shit for other people who have literally no context on what this is about or what we're doing, right? And this is great practice for you, actually primarily this is about you and like working through this stuff in the first place. I have tons of experience with the imposter syndrome in many avenues, not just software engineering. And I'm sure a bunch of other people have this as well. I know a bunch of other people have this as well in all areas of their life. So like you said, you were comfortable with the things before and now it's not. It's different. So let's go in the, so let's start at the beginning of the story and then go to like where you're at, like to the end, to the crazy end, right? Okay.
Yep. The start of the story was something to the effect of like, where are my features? Where are my user stories? Why can't I just like search a file and find this broken thing and fix the broken thing in 10 minutes?
Wait, do you not have user stories?
Very, very loose.
Do you not have a PM?
Yeah.
Okay, so well, first off, this just sounds like kind of a shitty scenario where it's like you're in an echo chamber of yourself. You have these really vague requirements, which is fine. Like I work with vague requirements all the time, especially really early on in a startup. But you're not in a startup; you're just in a greenfield project within this really established company. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, and so I have stories, but it's mostly like, make proof of concept of UI SDK. Oh, that's like a 100-point story.
So yeah, make
the project from scratch.
Make the project.
Do the thing.
Is the only story you have.
Is basically my story.
It's not a story.
No, and so I'm just used to like pulling tickets off the backlog and ripping through them. Like that was something I built my whole career on so far, as being a guy who will just go do the stories that people don't want to do, knock them out, get it done, claps on my back, and carry on and feel really good about it. Like I like that work. And now for the first time, I've been given this really cool opportunity to build this thing that people really want and think is really important. And I'm the only one with that opportunity. So it's like, it's on me if I fuck it up. And I feel like if I ask questions, they're going to look at me as some idiot who doesn't deserve to be able to do this. So I have to pretend like I know what I'm doing. And then I don't know what I'm doing. So I just like poke at shit and try to build something that kind of resembles what people want without really figuring out if that's actually true or not. And waking up on a lot of days with this like sense of dread over my head of, I have to go build something I don't know how to build today for a company that really wants this thing built. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stick around here if I can't figure this out. And if I can't figure this out, then I'm going to get fired again. Like first COVID was a bitch and removed me from TeamSnap. That wasn't my fault. But then I got in here and I felt really excited. I'm like in like big dick programming now, hanging out with the big boys. And then I get fired and it turns out I can't hang with the big dick programmers. I got to go back to like the
small dick programmers. God forbid.
I got to be an incel with a bunch of boulderites or something.
No one wants to be around a bunch of tiny dicks.
Nope. Got to have that big dick energy, man. Which
there is so much, like so many like trails that we could go off on, but just like regular 2D, just like run of the mill stuff, like I think you can answer your own questions on a lot of these things. Like this actually ties back to what we were talking about earlier with honesty and integrity. And it's not intellectually honest of you to just be pretending that you know what you're doing and what you want, what needs to get built.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
And so if it's like, if the story is create the thing and you're like, I can just pretend like I've got this, and like you can, right? I just don't think that the product will be as good that if you are honest and being like, I don't actually know what that means.
Yeah.
What does a successful SDK look like?
Yep.
Right. Who are our users? Right. They're developers, obviously, as a software development kit, right? But who are these developers? What are they doing?
Yeah. And so those are all questions like that I've started getting answers to, because my old team lead from Gaia, who is now the principal at Alteryx, is my connection there. He's now my technical supervisor on this project. So with him, I started asking these questions. And so a lot of the story I just outlined for you is the like initial, it's me and my engineering manager like spitballing on this. So Dave's been very helpful, but you're absolutely right. Like, and that was one of the first things I told Dave was like, hey man, I don't know if it's that the rapport is not there with William yet or what, but like, here's where I'm at. I don't really know what I'm doing. And so he and I have made a lot of progress there, but there's still, with my like direct boss is the person I've not been intellectually honest with. So what you're saying is still relevant.
Well, it's always relevant, man.
Well, I know.
Like,
yeah.
Come on. And that's like the very surface level, like problem solving like human aspect of it, like very, very simple stuff. But let's go a little bit deeper into like the bigger thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so the story is what's the main story?
Yeah. The main story is if I cannot build this, or if I can't build it fast enough, it's more about can't build it fast enough. Because I know I can build it if you give me enough time. But if I can't build this fast enough, and if it sucks, even if I do build it, they're going to fire me, or they're going to give the project to somebody else and like assign me to some remedial, I don't know what program. And I'm not going to be able to afford to keep living in my house if they fire me. I'm not going to be able to like leverage the golden handcuffs that they're giving me to go travel the world and do some of the things I really want to do later on. I am going to be just another schmuck who got laid off and like hangs his hat on the fact it's the company's fault for X, Y, and Z. It's not my fault. I'll just become this shitty person. But really, I'll say all those things, but then the whole time it's just like, no, I suck. It's all my fault. I'm not good enough. I'm the worst. Um, and it's just, it's a big ball of I don't deserve to be here, and they're going to find out.
Mm-hmm. And
Once they
then
find
when
out,
they do, right?
yep,
Yeah. And then what's the consequence? We
yep,
said it a couple times. So what's the consequence
yeah.
once they
Then
find out?
I'm gonna get fired.
Right.
Um,
Okay. And then what? And then after you get fired, right? You won't have what?
yeah, I won't have the income that I have now.
Mm-hmm. And
And
then
once I don't have the income, I probably will have to move out of my house or sell a bunch of shit, go back home with mom and dad, or
mm-hmm.
find a new job that might also still suck. And then I'm just going to be in a perpetual cycle of I am not good enough to be here, or these people aren't good enough to keep me around, and I'll keep job hopping forever and never find a place that feels like home and probably be broke. And that would really suck.
Let's go with yeah. So you're broke. What happens when you don't have financial resources?
Yeah. You get to go be a mid-20 something who goes and lives with his parents.
Okay. And then what happens?
You slowly lose your mind because your parents have 5 goddamn dogs, 3 cats, and 2 teenagers in the house. And life no longer is worth living when you have an endless cacophony of dogs. And
yeah, but what is it? What does moving in back in with your
right.
parents really symbolize?
Yeah, I couldn't make them.
We're not afraid of. You love dogs. I mean, yeah, they're annoying when they wake you up and shit. But
Yeah,
what are we
that's
really
true.
afraid of?
Yeah, it's I couldn't make it on my own, and
yeah,
I had all this approval finally from my parents for like making it happen for my. No one actually makes it happen for themselves, but right, I made it happen for myself. I proved that I could go do a thing and get to a place and be crushing it at life, and all through this way that doesn't really make sense to them, right? It's this work that you and I do. It's this work that I started just like not really directly related to getting better or worse at programming as much as it is getting more skillful as a human being. And so if I have to move back home with them, it's proof that whatever I was doing didn't work.
mm-hmm. And then what? So you're back home with your parents. What does that mean, man? Like, what is the scary part? So you move back, your parents love you. What's the problem?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm trying to get it out of you.
There is no like objectively.
There's what I would be horrified with moving back in with my parents. But like, besides the like just the living circumstances where it's like it's annoying to live with mom and dad, right?
Yeah.
What are you really afraid of going back with your parents?
Oh, I like having to tell people that I live with my parents.
Thank you. Exactly. Fucking finally. What is it when you hear like, oh, so and so is like living with their mom and dad and they're 28 years old? What do you think of immediately? What's the stereotype that you think of?
Yeah, a fucking underwear wearing basement dweller.
Fucking loser.
Yeah.
A fucking loser, right? Yeah. That's the fear.
Yeah.
And what is that like? That's actually not even really the fear. That's just the label of the fear. What does it mean for someone to be living with their parents at 20, 27, 28?
Yeah, they've failed. They are a failure. And
what do failures get?
Nothing good.
Yeah.
You get to be the guy who talks about all the things he used to have.
Yeah.
Before he took an arrow in the knee.
So you fail, and then then what happens? Right.
Yeah, then that's a permanent state. Once you have achieved that level of failure, it cannot be remedied.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to be the guy who lives at home forever,
mm-hmm.
and is a burden on both his parents and society,
mm-hmm.
and is unlovable by his friends and
mm-hmm.
significant others,
mm-hmm.
and life's just generally going to feel pretty shitty.
And then what about the dating prospects?
Yeah, non-existent.
right? So we have your personal, like you have your cash in jeopardy. Yeah. You have your future, like dating prospects, your sexual relationships in jeopardy. What about like your friends and stuff like that?
Oh, for sure. Like at least perceived, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so. So then, yeah. So all of these are all our perceptions. They're not actual reality,
right? Yeah.
Right? These are what our fears are, right? These are the stories, and these are the things that we have in jeopardy, right? And so, and that's a lot. And what's the reality, right? You're just working on a project.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Reality is, yes, I wake up and I work at a tech company to build a project.
That's really it. That's all that's happening.
Yep.
And I don't know whether you're succeeding or failing, right? But that doesn't really matter as much as the story that I've constructed over whether or not I'm succeeding or failing.
Yeah.
Okay. There was another branch that I wanted to go off of when you were describing all of that, but then I lost it. I thought I wrote it down, but all I ended up doing was drawing a bunch of circles.
That's every psychologist who ever hears this is going to be like, fuck, they found me out.
So yeah.
I've only been writing circles this whole goddamn time.
Let's make it super clear. I am not a professional in any way whatsoever. These are just two guys trying to figure out life together. Yep. And it's more specifically well-being. It's just like, that's the ultimate goal. That's what we want. Or at least like, everything else is kind of tangential, right? Yep. They're all, well-being in my experience is the underlying motivator for almost all my decisions. And then everything that I do is basically just a strategy that I think will go get me well-being. All right. And that's the mistake a lot of folks make, is that they kind of put the cart before the horse, in the sense that I'm going to go get the job, get the girl, get the house, get the blah, blah, get this thing, get this thing, whatever it is outside of myself, and then I will get the well-being. Yep. Whereas I can kind of circumvent all of that and have the well-being, and then all of these things will kind of work out. As it's way easier to get all of that stuff when I'm not on fucking fire emotionally. Right? I make way better decisions when I am not a nutcase.
And the ideas that come through actually you're capable of listening to in the first place.
Right, exactly. I just have like everything else just works out easier when I've chilled the fuck out.
Yeah.
It seems really obvious, right? Like it seems super, super obvious, but if I am fucking super self-conscious and filled with fear, not knowing how to wake up in the morning, filled with anxieties, getting the Sunday scaries on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? Like, I'm just not going to be the person that I want to be in the world. I'm going to make way poorer decisions.
Yep. Yeah.
So the question becomes, okay, great, cool. Yeah. Oh, so the key to being happy is to just be happy. Thanks, bro. That's really helpful. Thanks a lot, man. And that's true, and it's also not true. That doesn't mean that there isn't work to be done.
Yeah.
But the work to be done isn't, I'm going to go put my head down and go make more money at work. And the solution isn't, I'm going to go put my head down and go find that partner. Right? And the solution is, I'm going to go put my head down, go get that body that I've always been dreaming of. Right? Go do those things. Go do and get those things. And then realize when I go and get those things and go and do those things, and I'm filled with fear in the process of doing it, and I'm doing it for all of the quote unquote wrong reasons, the garbage in, garbage out, man, the end result's not going to be so great. The personal experience, personal story, I was working at a US bank, and you already know this. I've already told you the story a billion times, but I'm going to do it again because that's where we're at now. Is just reiterating shit over and over and over again. And that is like, I was a personal banker at US Bank, fucking basically just a shitty used car sales job is what it was. And I was like, if I only get this private banking job, then like I'll have more money, I'll have more prestige, and then I'll feel better. all it was the same job for more money, selling to richer people. That's all it was. So I was like, if I only do that, and I was like, my focus was so narrow.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was on fucking fire emotionally.
Yeah.
I wanted to die almost every day.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to make better decisions when I'm like that.
Yeah.
And when I'm feeling that way. And so instead of focusing on career and the girl, and I made some horrible dating decisions during that time, obviously, right? Like they're almost laughable, and like we can get to that another time. Right? Horrible dating decisions in that time. When I made the switch to focusing on dealing with these core stories, this root thinking, and fixing that first, everything else started to shift. It took a while, it took years, but then stuff became really clear. And I steadily started making better and better decisions. And then it starts out really small. And then those decisions start to compound. And I started to get a little bit of relief emotionally. And with that relief, it was just like compounding interest. It was like I would get relief, and then I could make clearer decisions, and then I could, and then that was that upward spiral.
Yeah.
But it starts here. It starts with the thinking, not with the getting of the thing. If I got the jacked up thinking, then I'm fucked. Well, I'm never fucked, but it's just gonna suck. It's gonna suck a lot. It's gonna hurt a lot more.
Will rapidly accelerate your opportunity to make different decisions.
And they're not even like, and they're not even hard, right? It's like they just become so much easier. It becomes almost effortless to do the quote unquote right thing.
Yeah, that's with like my latest quote unquote right thing is like the caffeine free deal, and I went 38 days, and then yesterday I was fiending, man. Like that was the first time that the like ex-smoker thing ever made any sense, or like because I didn't have any of those particular maladies, right? But so I made it 38 days. I'm gonna have a cup of coffee. So I went and bought an 8-ounce cup of coffee, like teeny tiny little bit of coffee.
From where?
Otis in Lafayette. So like one of my favorite coffee shops. And my car started to smell like coffee again, and like my brain instantly started like getting all like jazzed up. He's like, "Oh fuck yeah, we made it." Addiction
is like the best allegory.
It was
like, I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm also not, but it's the best allegory for like consistent thinking and doing patterns.
Yep.
Reinforcing themselves and eliciting emotional reactions. There's nothing. That's why I'm so grateful to have like beat so many different addictions, because I have so much experience in like knowing that it's possible to have a certain way of thinking and have it be so fucking ingrained, but then with enough work, I can completely shift that.
Well, so that's exactly what happened, right? So I feel all this stuff coming up, and I'm all jazzed. I get home, I pour it into an actual coffee mug because I'm not a heathen, and I take 2 sips.
A mug or a thermos? A mug or like a Contigo?
No, it was like an actual mug, like a mug. I want to drink my coffee.
Amateur hour, dude. Amateur.
I don't want my coffee to taste like stainless steel.
You want your coffee to. I want my coffee to be hot. Because I'm a real man. I don't want some lukewarm, tepid bullshit. I need the coffee to burn the back of my throat.
If you understood the tasting notes of coffee, you would know that you can more adequately taste the notes at a lower temperature, sir. But so I'm letting my coffee cool off. I have 2 sips and like start to get like, I feel my brain feeling a little caffeinated, feeling different. And then I was just like, this feeling actually sucks for me. Like, I know tons of people love the feeling of being caffeinated, or at least they think they love the feeling of being caffeinated. And I drank not even half of 8 ounces and poured the rest out, and I'm good. Like, no part of that is appetizing to me. But it was I'm so glad I went and did that, because it was proof is in the pudding moment of like, not only is this the right decision for you, you have now accumulated enough repetitions of this kind of stuff to recognize what actually feels good for you, and saying it's not that. Yeah, I'm.
And then how much of the rest? And then you finish the rest of the coffee?
No, I poured it out.
Drank the whole. I'm joking.
Yeah, I had all these thoughts, and I was like, no, actually, it's okay. I'm gonna finish it.
And then I drank, yeah. and then I went in and got another one.
Yeah, no,
and I haven't stopped.
I'm now 8 cups in, making up for lost time. No, dude, like, I'm good. It doesn't feel good. The only thing that was great about it is I shit so much so fast that was pretty cool.
I do love my cat. I do love my coffee booze. Those are.
That was the only thing that I was like, oh, I kind of missed that. The rest of it, though, I'm good.
All right. So do we have resentment for today that you want to do?
Yeah, let's do it.
I think we have just enough time to get through this. Maybe not, but we'll see.
It'll be close. You'll have to give me host permission again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hold on a second. Make host.
And we like sort of half did this one earlier, but this is like a much more check. Can you see Baby Yoda? You can't. That's unfortunate. My desktop background is Baby Yoda and his little hover sphere. It's like a little
all I get is your Excel, because that's all you're sharing is the Excel window.
I'm sorry that I've neglected sharing that experience with you.
I'm very sad. Yeah. So just food in general. Okay. All right.
Food, period.
Yep. Okay. This
is a big one for the uninformed and the uninitiated. This is a big one for both of us, right? And the thing that's really interesting about food is, unlike any other addiction, food addiction's the wrong thing, but like any other kind of like maladaptive thing, like drinking or smoking, it's just like, hey, fucking stop doing that. And you can't stop eating food, right? So that's where some of these things get really interesting. But so I'll blow this up a little bit. So story around just food, period, is...
So the resentment is towards food as a whole, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then what's
just, and like mostly the fact that I have to eat it to survive, but just like food in general. So yeah, the story is fuck food. Fuck the fact that I need it to survive, and that it is so damn enjoyable to eat, and that it can impact my health, appearance, behaviors, and feelings towards myself so strongly. It's fucking terrifying how much power I've prescribed to food. If I could just follow the perfect diet, I'd be happy. Or if I could just never worry about what I ate again, I'd be happy. But as it stands right now, I'm cursed to remain driven by and fixated on food, and there's no way out because I'll always need to eat. So I'll always suffer because I know I'll never be able to get this right.
That's a good story, man. That's a really good story. And what makes a good story? One that is honest, right? And that's I resonate with this very much.
Yeah,
man. Very, very much. And then what are that's okay, let's get into the facts, because this is a little yes, that's a fact, but that's not really a fact like pertaining to the story that you have here, right? So again, so it's like with the let's do a very simple resentment. It's like let's say it's your girlfriend, right? And I got in a fight with my girlfriend, and it's like the story is like she's super dumb because she can't remember to, like, I don't know, lock the door at nights, and because she's dumb, like she's the worst, and I hate her, and she's like a stupid bitch. Like, whoa, okay, calm down. But what are the facts of that story? The fact was that you all had an argument.
Yeah.
That she didn't lock the door, right? That's the fact, right? There's no emotion in that one. And so like, this is the story of food. What's the fact? That, yeah. I mean, we could also like, yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fine.
Was there somewhere else you wanted to go with that?
I was gonna go like kind of like I have I've had challenging relationships with food. That's also a fact.
Yeah, I actually like that better. For me.
Yeah. Like I think like that is both true and especially when there are resentments regarding like us and not other people. And it's like this is fine because generally this would be a judgment, like a challenging relationship is a judgment on a thing. But this is you, right? We're not saying this other person is behaving in this particular way. You don't really know. Like this one you do, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So this affects your what, right? Okay. So how does your relationship with food affect your pride?
Yeah, because I can't just be a fucking normal person who goes and like eats food with his friends or his family and isn't obsessing over it. And that feels terrible.
Well, how does that affect your pride?
Yeah, right? Well, right. So I don't feel particularly like this is not the thing I want to wave my flag around saying, look at me. I'm so bad at negotiating food things. Like it's just something, it's hard to feel proud of being a person when I can't even approach one of the most normal day-to-day things we're supposed to be able to do, quote unquote, normally.
And what would that mean normally?
Yeah, that I can go sit down and I don't know that this is, actually that's a non-useful judgment, but to do this normally would be like, I can just go and something sounds good or I'm hungry and I don't think about or plan what I'm going to eat. I just eat the thing. And I eat till I'm satisfied and I walk away and call it a day. And if I go overboard with that, I don't reprimand myself.
Well, how do we define pride when we're talking about these resentments, right? So just look it up real quickly.
We're going to get all sorts of gays.
Nice.
Sorry, I forget that this is going out into the world now. Apology to anyone who doesn't feel okay with that. A feeling or deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements.
Exactly. Right. So how does like I don't see pride here.
Yeah, I guess
I see self-esteem.
Totally. That's a better.
But I don't see pride. So how does this affect your self-esteem?
It feels bad, man. Because this stems from my self-esteem being inflated by being the guy who can be disciplined and get yoked and be the bodybuilder and all those things. And so I have tied up food into my self-worth and like the decisions I can make around it.
Beautiful.
Dictate myself.
Beautiful. Great. And so when you deviate from this ideal, right, then boom. Okay, which brings us into our next section here, ambition. So how does this affect, and how do we define ambition?
Yeah, it's like I have an expectation of how this is supposed to go, and this is now getting fucked with.
Exactly. And so how does your relationship with food mess with your ambitions?
Because I just want to be yoked out of my mind all the time and also get to have my cake and eat it too and be normal around food.
Pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. Very hard intention.
So yeah, what's the ambition, to be specific?
Now the ambition is to
in the resentment area, right? Like totally know what the resentment, like the ambition is now. But when we're in this mode, right? What is the ambition?
Yeah, to be free from suffering from food.
So when I get that's the one, that's great, right? That's the one that we all want, right? Yeah. That's fine. Like that's a healthy one that doesn't actually lead to resentment.
Yeah.
Right. So what, when we're in this story mode of working around food, what is our ambition? Like we talked about it all the way at the beginning of this talk, right? Where when like I'm trying to just not give it to you. I want you to kind of like so I'm struggling with like giving you breadcrumbs.
Yeah, I this one I think still is like well, in a wild sense of like I have an ambition of not needing to eat to survive. But that's obviously not relevant or useful. It's I have an ambition of not being I'm losing it because I've already said what I want to say here, which is like I have an ambition of not being all like hot and bothered about sitting down to eat a meal.
Mm-hmm. Or it's like when you're, let me put it this way, like when you're dieting, right, and then you deviate from that, how do you feel?
Oh, terrible.
Bingo.
Like judge, jury, and executioner, man. So I have an ambition of being able to never once stray from the path ever again.
The ambition, with foods is perfection, right? And it's like, that's when we get into that super restrictive mode of eating. Like I have this ambition where, like, and you talk about with the self-esteem, right? Where you're like, oh, I base my worth on how I can stay structured in this food realm. You know, I'm going to have the 6 meals a day, chicken breast, brown rice, broccoli, never deviate ever in my entire life, and then blow my brains out because picture living life that way. All right. But so I have an ambition of, and when you've got this bodybuilder persona thing built up, of being that like pinnacle of discipline and self-will. And then when I deviate from that, boom.
Yep.
Right? Yep. Okay. How does this affect your pocketbook?
It's expensive to follow the perfect diet, man. And you keep trying all these different ones. You try to go keto, paleo, if it fits your macros, whoever the goddamn whatever the fuck. You try 18, and you have to buy so many condiments and spices for these recipes. You're only going to cook once, and you're going to feel really good when you do it the first time. And then you're like, oh my God, this all sucks. Now I have like fucking Chinese white pepper, which I'm never going to use again. Or like some obscure
you should, thing. Man. White pepper.
It's delicious. I know. I was expecting a rebuttal there.
When there's definitely when you and then when we go off the rails and there's a binge or something like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Oh, that's expensive too.
That's expensive also.
Go hit up 3 drive-thrus, order a pizza, have a couple drinks. Like you just keep piling it, man.
But are we resentful about food because we think it jeopardizes this?
No, not really.
Yeah, I would like, I agree with all of those things you said, but I don't see I'm not resentful about food because it costs so much. I'm not, no. Or like my behaviors around food cost a lot of money. It's like, I don't really feel that way. And I don't know if you do. I don't think you do. Yeah.
Not anymore. No.
Okay. Okay. All right. How would this impact your sexual relationships?
Yeah. Very hard to like date somebody and have meaningful, really early interactions or interactions at all over the course of the relationship if I'm all fucked up about food decisions, unless they are also living in a bubble of being fucked about food.
And also what happens if you like eat too much?
Yeah. Then what we talked about earlier comes up, right? Then I'm going to get fat. I'm going to get out of shape. Whatever they found attractive about me at the onset is going to go away.
Yep.
And they aren't going to want to stick around.
Awesome.
Safety. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like, we are told all the time, carbs are bad, fats are bad. This is going to kill you. If you drink if you have a single teaspoon of vegetable oil, your cells literally die. There's so much dialogue, especially in our country, around like how food actually, like objectively, quote unquote, impacts your physical safety. And then like being constantly all afraid and fucked about what food's doing to your physical safety fucks your emotional safety, because you're like, I can't make a right decision. This guy says it's bad. That guy says it's bad. It's all bad. I don't know. And I think that pretty much covers safety.
Yep, for sure. Yep. Food as dangerous. Yep.
Yeah. Personal relationships, like hell, man, even just my relationship with food, like that is that's like one of the most intimate relationships you can have, right? Like I'm not going to sit there and pull an American pie and fuck the pie, but like it's important. It's part of what you do on a daily basis. And if that integral relationship is all squirrely.
Well, the personal relationship is specifically with other people, right? And so how does your relationship with food impact like your relationships with others? I think you touched on it a little bit, but
yeah, someone like inviting you to go out to eat and you're like, no, dude, I got legs tomorrow. Like
exactly.
that whole like bro paradigm. Or like, no, dude, my cheat meal was 2 days ago. I can't do that. Like, or even if you do go to one of these things, you're just like, you bring your Tupperwares with you, or you do some like weird other crazy shit. You start binging at the family party, like
bingo.
Et cetera.
Totally.
Weird,
And it's super tough to be like in relationship with people when I am obsessed with the food that I'm eating and like the consequences and absolutely 100%. Okay. All right. So your part.
Yeah. So what's selfish about this resentment, other than like it's just about me?
They're all about you, man.
Well, yes.
You could literally start all of these with like everyone was like, well, it's exclusively about me. Yeah, like all resentments are. For sure.
Yeah, I'm the only use case of this level of suffering around food, and this makes me special or different in some way. I'm so worried about food and what it can do to me that I avoid situations and people that could potentially be pleasurable in order to avoid the pain.
Yep. I think that's a good summary of just like, it's like you're like, that's a long-winded way of saying I'm overly preoccupied with myself and my thoughts, right? But I think that's fine. But that's ultimately what it is, right? When I'm like so concerned with what I'm consuming that it's impacting my ability to like interact with people I care about and directly about affecting my self-esteem and self-worth. Yeah, I'm just it's almost like a tautology that's like I'm self-obsessed. But
for sure.
And that's why selfishness is so hard, like the my part sometimes, because I mean it's almost obvious, like they're my own bullshit. It's my own bullshit. So okay, all right, dishonest, like that. Okay, dishonesty. There's a bunch.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch. Food is in control. What I eat can impact my worth as a human.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yeah. My decisions or external appearance or perceptions of others can impact my worth as a human.
That's great. I like that too. We're getting to like super deep really fast, and I like that. But you can keep going. Yep.
I'm trapped by food forever. There is no escape, and I will never win because it's a game. Win.
Well, it's definitely a game you can win. 100%. But it's like there is no escape. Right? Is like expand on that. What does that mean?
Yeah, I cannot break this cycle.
Bingo. Exactly. I don't know if you have to. Yeah, you can type it if you want to. But what's the cycle that we're talking about?
Yeah, for me specifically, it's like binge restrict mentalities.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. So it's like I can't actually have a quote unquote like normal. I won't even say normal. I'll say a relationship that I want to be having with food.
Okay.
Right. That's awesome. That's a real, like, this is one of the bestest, like the better dishonest. I think like this is one of your better dishonesties. I think that's, I mean, we talk about food so much, but there's one more that's not in here. And that is specifically with one that you touched on with safety. Yeah, let's say like what's the that's fine, but let's not use the word safety. What's the opposite of safety? So food, like what's a like if we were to say food is what? Yes, exactly. Right? That's exactly. Yep. Exactly. Really, really good. So those are the lies, right? Those are the lies. And then so what's the fear?
Yeah.
What's the fear?
Yeah, if I never overcome this, I know I'll
And
never be who I want to be.
this being being
Yeah.
specific, right? What is the this? I would take a lot of the the emotion out of that one right there. Overcome what is like get specific, right? So not your fucked relationship with food, right? What is I will never overcome exactly. Exactly. Right?
Yep. So if I never overcome my binge restrict cycle with food, I know I'll never be who I want to be. I'll continue choosing to live in a way that doesn't resonate out of fear of what could happen to me if I let this control go, or if I can't live up to my own arbitrary standards. I might as well just give up. I know I can't get past this, so then I know I will always suffer, and I'll probably get fat and undesirable and so reclusive that nobody will ever want to take part in my life in any meaningful way.
Yeah, and then then you're alone, right? And then what happens? Yeah. Right. So I've been cast out. I don't have, and then boom. And then I'm just going to fucking feel like shit. And then why would that stop? Right. Yeah. Awesome, man. This is kind of stuff that we already had known and talked about, and we've like a bunch. And there are some very familiar patterns here, right? That's not just with food, right? That's with kind of, because food is just a representation.
Yep.
Of a bunch of other things in our lives. And so awesome, let's pull out the stories that don't work, right?
Like I kind of am out of control all of the time, but like specifically I'm out of control. But that's in
like a good way. You're out of control, Jordan. I get you're saying though. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
I think that's it.
We have one more. Bingo. Yep. That's one more that I could see anyway. And so for folks that have no idea like what we're doing and like what this is, right? So we talked a lot about kind of the root, or we talked a little bit about the like root causes of like not going and getting the stuff, right? I'm not going to go get the body, right? Or go get the perfect meal plan and then follow it, right? Or actually, could you leave that up?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And like go get the house or the job or the like we started with like it's our thinking first. And we go get what like, and this is what we're doing here is uncovering patterns of thinking so that we can become aware of the stories in our minds that don't really work out so great. And by don't work out so great, we mean don't really feel that good. But in order to kind of uncover what those are, in order to change them, we've got to uncover them. And this is one of the ways that we do this is through this kind of resentment inventory work. And then, okay, now I am coming through and finding these kind of root stories and patterns. Great. Now I can become aware of them in different facets of my life, and I can start to shift them into thoughts that feel a bit better and start to work out. And so that's kind of what we're in the process in. And that's what this is. That's what we're doing. And that doesn't mean like we have to wait till we're done with all these resentments until we start to shift and start to see thoughts changing and moving and ebbing and flowing into directions which feel a bit better. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling now, but yeah, that's it. That's the whole purpose of this. So awesome, dude. We're about 10 minutes over.
Yeah, thank you for the extra time.
Well, I wasn't gonna stop mid like resentment with the food stuff, but you've gotten really good at getting to like one. Like this dishonesty was really, really good. and kind of getting to these root causes. Like we've done, I don't know, like 100 of these so far. I don't know, something like that. And you're just getting really good at building this skill. And we do this enough times, and what will happen is, like, this is obviously very, very concentrated and focused and purposeful and conscious, right? And it takes time, right? And what will happen over time is I can do this almost automatically, where it's like, ooh, I'm not feeling so hot. There's something going on. And I can uncover the root cause, like the thinking that I'm not, that doesn't really work, and go, oh, it's the I'm not enough, right? Or like people outside of me determine my worth, or whatever it is, right? Whatever like, oh, it's that one. Okay. Hello, old friend. Hello, old friend. Let it pass through me, replace it with one that works, and carry on with my day. And that doesn't even have to be conscious. I can literally do that like that. And I'm sure you've had experiences like that as well.
Yeah. I mean, even this one specifically, like, I'd have to pull up my calendar for the exact date, but the last like binge I had with food was like September 9th or something like that. It's been almost a year.
Right. And the goal, right. And to show kind of like, I've definitely gone in with the strategy of like, I'm just not going to binge.
Yeah.
Just don't binge, right? It didn't work for me.
Yeah.
It didn't work for me.
No, it didn't for me until a conversation that we had we were talking about like when the last time that I had one was, and you were like, dude, just mark it down in the calendar. And as you accumulate days, it just becomes very easy to look at it as that's not worth it. And that's not like who I want to be. It's not how I want to behave in this world anymore. But it took a year and a half of us doing this kind of stuff to be willing to mark that date in the calendar and stand by it.
Well, and we didn't go and just go, I'm just going to not binge. Right? It wasn't like, okay, I'm going to white knuckle, use my willpower to not binge. What we did is we attacked the thinking first. Are you still there? It looks like you disconnected. Uh-oh. Looks like I lost you. Oh, well. But what we did, and I guess we'll end it here because it looks like I lost Jordan, but what we did is we started with the root causes.